Raila Odinga's exclusive interview Wednesday night ignited a topic that has been lying in my desk here for 2 months now. A riddle that quite a number of us cannot explain. But because of the cabinet reshuffle, I think successfully the government managed to divert the attention of the nation. Despite of the talks resuming and Azimio la Umoja agreeing to head to the talks, why has it become difficult, or why has government still declined to restore the Azimio leaders, Raila Odinga and Azimio leaders' security? And in this podcast, I will explain why it is a matter of urgency for that to be done. When I listened to Raila yesterday, when he was being interviewed by Ken Mijungu in the KTN News interview, there is something that you could see from Raila. As much as you're not so much interested in it, but I was, you will read his body language.
When I came to your home in February, I was met by uniformed GSU officers by the gate. Today, the situation is different. I haven't seen them. I've only seen the civilian guards at your gate. Perhaps they are ununiformed. Was this part of the withdrawal of security that happened earlier on in the year? Did it also affect you?
Well, yes, certainly. Of course, you heard the deputy president saying that these officers were discretionary and that they were withdrawn and only be returned after, I think, 3 months, but depending on good conduct of those who were involved. And that's what happened. They withdrew the security here and they have not been returned. Actually, I've not bothered to even remind them or to complain. But as you know, that my security is actually in the Act.
Yeah.
Is in the Act, is provided for by law. There's no discretionary to the government or to the presidency. They are there because of my duties as a prime minister. This country, I'm entitled to retirement benefits, and security is part of it.
The body language tell it all, that of course it is something that is bothering him, but has decided that that is not going to be one of the things even to worry about. And so, I want us to look at this keenly. So we see what exactly has been going on, what are the issues on the table, and kindly, before you get into that, kindly subscribe to our channel. And this is the very last video as I finish Mwenda fundraiser, Monday to Thursday to Friday. Yes, as I'm doing this last video, it is actually at midnight. Yes, and I just want to check the last M-Pesa message. Yes. So, I think the deficit is now around 15,000. Is it 15? Yes, 80. Wait a bit. Yes, 84. So 84, 600. So 15, barely around 15,000. And I believe tomorrow, of course, that I believe we can top up by morning, or those two shall have managed, so that we'll be able to make sure that we are done and we take Mwenda successfully joins Kirinyaga University. By then, I can spend my better part of weekend in Mount Kenya. So you can invite me. I want to see coffee farm. I really want to see coffee farm. I want to talk even informally with coffee farmer. I also want to, another thing I also want to do is, I also want to at least meet Mamo veterans. I understand what Mamo is all about. Just sitting down, understanding what Mamo is all about. Yes, and I'm also going to look at infrastructure. What exactly is going on? Good that I'll be driving, so I'll be in a position to maybe make observation and see for myself what exactly is happening in different places. I believe so that we want to know really what politicians are saying, whether it's the truth. So I tell you, from tomorrow I'll be giving you many analysis on Mount Kenya. You just excuse me, I'll try to restrict myself to Mount Kenya because I'll be there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to our podcast that we're doing. Raila's security is part of the RBS, retirement benefit, but it was being treated as a favor. And when you listen to what Rigathi Gachagua said about restoring the security details, it is not difficult for someone to see that the secrecy is shrouded. The secrecy is shrouded in some fear.
You are going to have talks, well and good. But since I have not seen a commitment that you denounce violence and give Kenyans undertaking that you will not go back to the streets, those policemen will stay on standby for now. If in the next 2-3 months you are of good behavior, there is no demonstration, there is no chaos, we shall return the men to you to guard you.
But again, I don't know whether it worries President Ruto, and I know it doesn't, if they said that never again shall they use police to manage politics.
We do not believe that the might of the police should be used against citizens or against leaders. We believe that it should be used to protect and to serve every citizen so that they can achieve their aspirations, and we can commit ourselves as a people to driving the agenda of the nation that benefits everybody.
Yes, that was the word. We will never use police to manage politics. And so now is a deputy president saying that unless we see the way you guys are behaving politically, we're going to give you security. So you see the way they have actually, screwed their own word on will never use police to manage politics. We must have acknowledged. Now, so the reason from that soundbite, the reason why Raila's security details have been withdrawn is because they think that leaders will go for the protest. And so I just gonna ask, the security details that have been withdrawn largely are those ones that are managing the home. I think the Pond Farm, this one, and the other infrastructures, and the others that are supposed to be manned. So, are these security details involved in the protest? It's quite a different story. But if you realize, this is not something that is lightly. Now, it is a matter of urgency for Raila's security to be restored. And, however, when you listen to what Raila said in that interview, he said that they will only debate give a very clear position about Ruto legitimacy after the bipartisan talks deliberation. From the outcome of the bipartisan talks is what will make Azimio to either recognize or continue calling illegitimacy of William Ruto. This is what is being seen as protecting the nation from a protest, rather trying to subdue the opposition politicians not to protest. However, Raila's reluctance to push for this is a double-edged security sword. And because of these two reasons. Number one, it is creating the victim card against Ruto regime. Remember, all these young politicians from Mount Kenya, they mounted their campaigns against Uhuru Kenyatta victimized them because they supported William Ruto. And they also cried, saying the way their security details were withdrawn. Even President Ruto had a very long scuffle with Matiang'i, who was CS Interior then, complaining that his security details was downsized. And it was a political tool that was used. And so, when there's new leaders, I want to believe how they say, Raila, do not complain and it's not restored and issue remains that way. But then after some 2 years, they say, my security details were actually downsized, actually withdrawn. And from there, I stayed without. So William Ruto will actually lose what he would. There will be no difference between William and Uhuru Kenyatta. The second reason why it's a matter of urgency for this to be done is, can you imagine of a slight compromise, and I'm using the word slight because I don't think it should even be huge, or it can't even be huge, a slight compromise on Raila security. Yes, I was talking to someone who was telling me that, Kevin, during those mandamanos, if there is someone that government was protecting, it was even Raila, because they knew that even the enemies of this country will do something mischievous at those protests because it will put this country somewhere. So let's try to look at it, because those are eventualities. So what would this country, what would be the image of Kenya Kwanza if there is a slight compromise on Raila Odinga security? Because remember, his is actually in the constitution. And I listened to his response. I really loved the response. He said that I don't need the government security because my security is the people. So long as I can move in town freely, the people can protect me. I will only have a problem when I'm at loggerheads with the people. In Nigeria, and this makes me remember something happening in Uganda here. Museveni walks in the streets with water cannons. And he's normally just insecure all through. And so sometimes that is that. But then, why has government declined? What are you seeing? I'm seeing three possibilities. The first one, I think they wanted to limit political mobility of Azimio leaders. Political mobility is on this way. At one point, security can also be donated, some of these leaders. So, when they don't have that security, the leaders that cannot, Raila can go, but not all those leaders in Azimio are Raila. There are those that really must have the security with them at all times. And what will happen, and I think they said that those who are recalled actually are just on standby. They have not been redeployed anywhere. So they're just on standby waiting for whether they'll be going back there. So do we have officers we are paying that are supposed to be doing some work, and we've just withdrawn them and keeping them idle, well, under the guise of we are managing politics. But two, the government, I think, is intimidating the Azimio leadership to submission. Yes, some submission. If you don't toe the line, we don't give you. And so it has also been weaponized. But lastly, there is a possibility that probably the sack of officers around Raila were avenues of getting intelligence. So there is maybe need to reduce. They reduced so that we'll not get to know what is there. Now, if Gachagua is saying they will not need to restore when Raila commits not to go to the street while bipartisan talks is going on, and Raila Odinga himself has said that we are waiting for what talks, the result outcome of the talks, and also ruled out possibility of going back to there, maybe going back to the streets. Then what is happening? Is government planning to backtrack, to walk out of the talks, and they believe that Azimio leaders will be irritated? I asked another expert, what about this? So someone also told me that, we are from a protest, and there's some very mischievous things that happened. Remember, Raila Odinga's personal security, personal bodyguard was kidnapped. These are all issues on the table, and there could be maybe some bad blood. There will be some betrayal within, and these are some of the issues that are there. But I do believe that even though Raila cannot ask for it, because what they want is Raila to beg, which I don't think there is something called oxage, or they don't beg. So I don't think that is it. Because it's in the constitution, it should be guaranteed. Thank you very much for those who have supported our fundraiser for this boy. I'm just so grateful. As we finish up, I will give you more updates about this tomorrow. I think that is after tomorrow, because we'll manage the process tomorrow. Then on Saturday, we'll give you more update. I'm just grateful. And remember, I'm going to, at the end of this, I'm going to give you a very interesting story about myself and why I think of all these fundraisers, this one for taking this boy to school gives me a lot of satisfaction. Actually, it gives me satisfaction when I see someone getting a breakthrough through this. This was not the initial deal. Initial intention was to churn out political information. But if you can be part of the solution, there is nothing good for me that humbles me than this. Thank you.